All right, guys. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the Astro News Network. Hello, people in chat already. I saw Dasa in there. Terra Nova. Hello, hello. We're going to be having a very Aries-focused show today. I'm going to be spending a lot of time breaking down the complete mental breakdown that happened on Speed the night after last week's ANN. We're also going to have Baylor back on the show to talk about Utopia and the action that's heating up over there. Hey Halo, how's it going? And really, we're just going to go ahead and dive right into our headlines, but we're actually going to start at the bottom of our headlines, which one of our new favorite recurring themes on the show, Belwar launched. Did he land? No, he did not. He launched at 09, again, his favorite target, Cancer Crew. And he recalled again. I'm as shocked as you are. Kirby, will you go away and stop huffing into the microphone, please? Thank you, dog. All right. So that takes care of our Belwar-related activity for the week. Well, technically not, because we're about to talk about Utopia for just a minute or two. We're going to go over some of the Utopia wartime that's heating up over there, which we're going to go into much greater detail later when we talk with Baylor. But right now on Utopia, ELO is openly allied with RD against BYOB and WM in the wake of those teens guilds, BYOB and WM, attempting to Pearl Harbor ELO about 2 months ago. Almost 2 months ago now. It seemed like ELO and RD were going to launch at the teens together just the other day. However, they instead took the easier route of launching at BFG in the Utopia 30s for a light inactive snack. So RD manages to dodge yet another crash on Utopia, but I think their time is running out on that. They're going to eventually have to meet and crash the U-10s head on. I know I don't think they're actively avoiding crashes, but I know it tilts Mr. Black to hear it, so we're going to keep pushing that narrative. And again, before we get into the long disaster of this week on the Speed server, we're going to take a quick look at the guild rankings on both Antares and Ares. So first up, we're going to take a look at Antares. Not much happened on Antares this week. Belwar attempted this launch and recalled again. Shocker. And also, we need to give props to Belwar for renaming his guild the Total Recall. I'm glad he's fully leaned into that meme. But right now, if we just look at the guild's top rankings by level and fleet, going down the list, it's OPA, Japan, USSR, SF, and Total, formerly known as HC, which have been the same top 5 for the last month or so, maybe more. If you go to the rankings by experience, the top 5 XP guilds are OG, Die, XOXO, Wolf, and Trek. All of those 30s and 40s guilds, those are the two clusters that have been bopping back and forth against each other. And if you look at the individual players, you'll see we have a new number 1 on the list, and UCorp still has a stranglehold on 5 of the top 10 guild spots. I don't have too many weird individual stats this week, but Winston Duarte from OPA believes he may have occupied the first capital of an opponent this week. He took Japan Tasukete's capital earlier this week. And also on Antares, SF's training guild SFA GM Logan's Run is quitting Astro again after a cup of tea running that training guild for Baylor. So everyone can give him a fond farewell if they'd like. If you remember Logan's Run, he still loves the forums for some reason. Well, let's move on down to some Ares stats for right now. Number 1 of both fleet and level is Research Lab. They've simmed their way to the top in both level and fleet. They may have ninja'd once or twice, famously with Battleships 203, but we'll talk about that later. And so Research Labs has over 5.5 million fleet. And while their enemy alliance, which is Tribe and L4D, they're combined close to 8 million. So it's 5.5 on RL to almost 8 million for the Rethought group. There's also the alliance up in the top half of the cluster there for Speed, and it's Slack and Zoom, and they have a little bit less than 6 million fleet between them. So they're just, I guess, passing on the server now. I know Meow was kind of really bored with the server. He's not interested in it anymore. He gave up his GM. If you go to the experience for the Speed server, the top 2 XP guilds are Tribe and Left 4 Dead. That alliance got a bunch of experience after they dominated and crashed Zoo late Sunday night. And they also merged in some of the remaining Zoo players into Left 4 Dead. So all that experience they get to keep together on their own. And there were some claims of a dragon being slain, but it was merely just a dragon taming. Now, since Tribe has taken the dragon into their own. And the final delay, before we start getting into the meat of the Speed Server Ares disaster, I'm going to take a quick moment to promote myself and thank everyone that watches and has followed and subscribed. And here's your friendly reminder that if you have Amazon Prime, you do get a free monthly subscription to your favorite streamer on Twitch. In this free Twitch Prime subscription, you can use every single month to resubscribe, and it really helps support your favorite streamers and creators of this stream. But if you're not watching live, I do also upload these videos to YouTube the next day for old people who don't know how to watch a video on Twitch, and every follow and subscribe helps out there too. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's start talking about speed. Here we go. So, before I even give a description of what happened, I have to talk about that I took roughly 140 screenshots of the chat from that fateful Sunday night and early Monday morning. So I took the time to take those screenshots, so you're going to get to look at most of them. And late night, something we don't get to see very often happened in Astro. Which also, side note, so many things have happened on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon right after the ANN. It's been a major troll to me. It's very obvious. I don't appreciate it. Anyway, on the Astro Empire's Discord, the Speed Server channel was blowing up. Rethok's two guilds, Tribe and their ally Left 4 Dead, had launched on Alicus's guild Zoo in AO1. And their landing time was very late Sunday night, early Monday morning. Like 2 or 3 a.m., like US East Coast time, stupid late. Zoo was fighter stacking their landing zone. DD Lord, Mr. Black, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. We appreciate it very much. Alicus's guild Zoo was fighter stacking their landing zone, and they had enough fighters to easily win the crash. Super easily. In the unofficial Discord, FKA and Celeste were trying their hardest to bait Rethok into landing. I mean, really, really hamming it up, saying they had no chance. I think even FK deleted his bases to prove his point that he just knew they were going to lose and they should just land because they would definitely win, which was not true. And for hours and hours and hours, they're saying this over and over and over. It's a free win for Rethok, blah, blah, blah. Rethok was kind of unsure about it, but as I'll soon show from some of these screenshots and other pictures, he easily talked himself into the Reet and Yeet strategy of basically just killing themselves with almost no chance of winning. Almost no chance. Yep, so now we're going to go ahead and just look into these pre-crash screenshots that we have here. Let's see, Celeste is showing off. Oh, I'm not at the start. Go back to number 1. Boop, boop, boop. Alicus saying it's not fair that his players are in a different galaxy and he has to move to... They're lobbing an O2, blah, blah, blah. It's not fair. Mr. Black says, I thought Ree was a committed dragon worshiper these days. Oh no, he is not. He's betrayed the dragon. Alicus, even from hours and hours before the crash, he is saying that Scott is secretly pacted with Left 4 Dead and Rethok's guild. That RL is in a secret mega gigazerg, which is not true. Here's some fleet numbers. Ben's posting that Tribe and Left 4 Dead have only a little bit more fleet than Zoo and Eclipse. And here's some of Celeste, just baiting. More fleet numbers. More fleet numbers again. Alright, let's move on through. Celeste saying, your fleets are mostly bigger than ours, and you have more fleet. I don't see how you could lose this. You could all just land AFK and still win. God, baiting so hard. Ooh, FKA points out that Ree does have a lot of experience with zerging from playing with Scott, and he is putting it to good use. Alicus doesn't try hard. He's just a fun guy. Celeste would play with him again. Hold that thought. Yeah. Alex says, I think Speed was just alley baiting his own Speed team to contest him on B3, so he gets a fun fight instead of an enemy who flees from the dragon. A lot of talk from the Zoo side. That nothing can go wrong. Hopes couldn't be possibly higher. Alicus says, we're the only guild that didn't stack Galaxy like tryhards and didn't do Diplo. We'll see if that is true within a few hours. A little more emotion in this? Are you saying you want me to do some voices for this? You want me to do the Alicus voice? It's very racist. It's very racist. Alright, here we go. Here we go. I have to talk as fast as possible because Alicus's voice, as we'll hear from some recordings later, he sounds like he's sped up to triple speed. It makes no sense. We're the only guild that didn't stack like tryhards that didn't do Diplo. Now too late for Diplo, I guess. Dead server, just want it to end, okay? All I gotta do is rap. Yeah, it basically is a rap. Alicus talks so fast. Here, fuck it, we'll do Celeste too. Half our team doesn't even produce fleet, so why even bother? Just end the suffering. They have 1 mil fleet over us right now and it keeps growing. If they had not sent it, it would be 2 mil advantage tomorrow, okay? No, it's because there's no way to beat people who zerg up 2 times your numbers when they are right next door. There is no counter to this. There's no counter. Name one. Mr. Black voice. Yawn. There's always a counter. It's just not winnable. 5 maniac. Oh, God. God, there's so much to chat. I can't voice do everything or we will be here for a full hour. A full hour. Sean points out, Scott countered 3 times to 1 odds and you guys can't handle 2 to 1. Oof. Oh boy. Glad I'm with an actual good GM. Oof. Let's see, here's some more chat here. Oh, Celeste. We have no way to win. I'm just glad it's finally over. People who say we have a tactical alternative or some other bullshit can fuck off. We got zerked to death. Whoop-de-doo. I'm pretty sure that is an accurate Celeste voice, since we have nothing to prove otherwise. And we have some Alicus math here. It's 25 versus 5 plus 6 versus 15. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. And they are online around the clock. Share with Discord and call each other at 4 a.m. to drop trades on a 16-minute ninja, okay? And you only have 50% more fleet landing than us there, and another 1.1 million not here, and produce fleet twice as fast as us. But ignoring all that, you're right. We do have a small chance, Fury. Like, why even bother to lie? You guys have an unbeatable edge. Goodness. Oh my god, I'm only 13 pictures in? How am I? Oh my god. Alicus declares, it's 40 versus 15. Fun memes. Nice $6 worth for this fun game mode. And Alicus chased research labs out of O3 this morning, so shut the dumb meme. I was not expecting it to say shut the dumb meme. Oh, Scott, I thought you said you were driving home. You wouldn't be able to be watching. Don't you dare be texting and driving. Twitching and driving, Scott. It's dangerous. Oh, Scott's here. Oh, Scott's here. Oh, can I do a Scott voice impression? God, let's see. I'm glad we're on a page with Scott right here. Oh boy, here we go. God, how can I do like the stonerest voice of all time for Scott? I don't know if I can do that. Oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be cringy because it'll be bad. Oh, fuck, I can't do a Scott voice. I can't. No, I know. There's no Scott voice. I can't do it. I can't even find the strength to do it. Can't rush ring. No, that's a terrible. Can't rush rings on speed, bro. No, that's a terrible voice. No, Scott, it's out. It's over. Scott, you ruined it. You ruined a speed server. Thanks a lot. figure it out. Oh, can't do Scott. Oh, we can do Rethok though. So I'm running the numbers and it's really close. Are you willing to admit it's not a free crash? Or do you want to go for the meme that in case we lose, you still won after we zerged? I think Rethok was pretty good. Oh, I like Celeste here. I'm estimating you win by 200 to 300k in my models. When you run your numbers, are you assuming my guild is online and making hits? LOL. God, I love these that made up numbers for Celeste. Let's see. God, so much bait for hours and hours and hours before this crash. Are Celeste and FK just baiting as hard as they can. Let's not pretend our team of pro players are not going to suddenly wake up at 2 a.m. for a crash, as they've been chatting for hours and hours in the Discord already about it. But one of the more important things here is I need to pull up specifically Rethok's, their leadership chat from, where is it? There's something from his leadership chat of him discussing when he wanted to fight or not. And it was really easy to convince him to just go ahead and land anyway. So let me pull this up real quick. Where's the meltdown folder? Oh yeah, here's his discussion. It's been decided. Let's recall. But I'm ready to die. Everyone wants to recall, so let's do it. No, just land. Okay, let's land. That was it. That was Rethok's strategy. King Droid said, let's just land. Fuck it. And Rethok says, okay. So everyone's full on for the Reet and Yeet. Jesus Christ. How is that even a thing? Pull that down. Yeet, Reet and Yeet. So this trolling in the chat goes on for hours and hours, representing the dragon here. I bet at least one of Alex's crew is a suicider. Oh boy. God, I think we're still like about 2 hours away from the crash at this point. But I know we're soon, screenshot-wise, before disaster strikes. And they're Celeste's still baiting. Rethok doesn't know what he's doing. Scott says RL will delete if Alicus doesn't win. Scott's not a man of honor. I still see RL existing, so turns out Scott's the worst. Oh yeah, because Scott was so tilted that Rethok was falling for the bait. He said, I can't believe Zoo cried their way to a win. Good shit. As FK and Celeste declare Zoo is dead. Jesus Christ. And Rethok, no, we are committed to Reet and Yeeting now. Good God. And we're getting closer and closer to the crash. Alicus is the only one keeping us from deleting you guys. Yeah, Scott, you were so tilted that even after Alicus lost the crash, you argued with Alicus in Discord for like 24 hours afterwards, which we will be seeing some clips of in a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, we lost the second we agreed to play with Ali. We'll see if this comes true in an hour or so. Let's see. Okay. How is Jord going to explain this on Sunday? Great question, Wodan. Great question. I don't even know how much I can describe it. There's so much dumb shit trolling and lying. And here's where it all falls apart. We see a little screenshot posted by Alex here. I'm going to blow it up for you. Alicus posts, we are going to retreat. Fall back to 03. We will not take this fight right now. Smash immobile fighters on landing for maximum damage. This is where everything took a turn for the worse for Team Zoo. And immediately, Cancer Crew is pissed. Alex is pissed. Celeste is pissed. FK is pissed. Someone put this retard down. The Alicus experience, LOLOL. It's insane. They don't believe me when I tell them it's free. Yeah, Ben, you're exactly right. That FK and Celeste's baiting was so hard on Rethok that they didn't realize that they were also baiting Alicus. Because Alicus has said that because RL's fleet was missing, and because one guy ninja'd some battleships into O3, that RL was definitely zerging them and was going to come kill them. Which I can get how he would do that, or think that might happen. However, with a super winnable crash on speed server with your double Rex, I mean, how fast were they going to come and steal the pile? How fast was it going to happen? That's right, those famed 33 battleships. But now we're going to transition over to after. No, here we go. Which is when it really devolves into super shit slinging. Super shit slinging between Alicus and his own guild and Scott. And it's terrible because Cancer Crew is super pissed that they lost. Alicus is super pissed that his guild didn't do what he said and lost also, even though it's kind of his fault they lost the crash. And Scott is tilted at everyone for, I don't know why Scott's tilted at everyone, but Scott inserts himself into this fight that he wasn't in and makes himself Alicus's prime target of flaming and such and such. Oh, I almost forgot. Before I dive too much more into this post-crash shit talk, which really gets really vile. It's really bad. I'm posting the link that Infamous wrote for Astro Empires today. He wrote this midway through this week. He was in Zoo with Alicus's guild, and he writes a relatively non-flaming article about how that all kind of happened, how it all fell apart, why people got their feelings hurt, and all that fun stuff. It's a pretty good article if you didn't read it earlier this week. He tries to take a kind of objective way of writing about it, that Alicus was wrong to run away from that crash, but what kind of led up to it and how Celeste and FK probably kind of trolled Alicus on their own too, and that's why Alicus is so pissed also. It's a good read. But oh my god, just sweet baby Astro Jesus. After this crash that Alicus made his people run from, that Rethok barely won with just the tiniest bit of fleet, Alicus could have recalled any one fleet and they would have just killed that last fleet and they would have taken the pile. But they just kept going away. It was a free win and they just gave it away. And everyone is fucking pissed. Everyone's pissed. Which I loved because I wasn't involved in it. And you can see it's 2:18 a.m. my time. And these people are arguing about it for roughly 5 to 6 hours after this. It's a dream. I had woken up for a brief minute at about 3:45 a.m. just because the baby wakes you up sometimes. And I peeked at the Discord and I see 20 people in voice chat. And I knew there was something special because it's not often that people get so mad they yell at each other in voice chat, which we will get to in a few minutes. We're going to just peek at some of the more offensive pages we have here. Oh yeah, Megadeth sometimes posts in here, and it doesn't make any sense every time you see Megadeth posting in here. So that's always, you just keep count of the things he says that doesn't make any sense in this conversation. All right, what's next? This Infamous, this might be the closest thing to tilted I've ever been in my life. Alicus, RL's on our scanners to our bases right now. Shit meme. One base getting injured, or maybe 2 bases, something. Just one guy sending battleships. Celeste says, I'm still amazed so much of this guild decided to ignore Alicus and fight. Thanks for everything, guys. God. Because that crash was so close even after people... Oh, no zoo bases got hit? Oh my god. Infi, Alicus is a poop GM. Technique. What happened to all the dick sucking yesterday? It does nothing else server than wants to run 10 minutes before the crash. Oh, yep, and there's him down to a... I think that's after FK, Celeste, and Alex left down to 12 members, because either Alex kicked them or they left. I don't know. It's something weird. As Alex was a little bit inactive for this server, and he tried to give GM to FK, but FK was just like, no, I'm going to be uncooperative and just give you GM right back. So Alex was a little tilted about that too, because at that point it was Cancer Crew going full cancer. Oh god, let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Infi, he made one bad hit. So we need to remind him of that. Celeste, Alex ran away. He ordered his guild to run away, but most of us ignored him because he's retarded and crashed. Alex bravely ran away. The dragon flies again. Actually, most of the guild followed orders, says Alex. Oh, and this is the first posting of the vocal minority echo chamber of Cancer Crew. We're going to hear a lot about Cancer Crew echo chambers in the audios. We're not going to listen to all of it, but because so much of that is so vile, especially when Scott and Alex go. Because Scott is just telling Alex how he's literally the worst person to ever exist on the planet. It's a little much. We're still going to get bits of it, though. Oh my god. I'm only like 50 screenshots through here. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so vile. I can't think of a different word to describe how just... It's so low. Oh boy. Oh, what is that screenshot there? I don't know. We'll pull it up later. But yeah, people just saying constant Alex the dragon running away, going on and on and on. Oh, Rethok, I am the dragon slayer. And he repeats it. Rethok, for first time having success in Astro Empire, so regardless of how we got there, so big applause for Rethok. That's his first even remote success. Oh, good God. And just more and more and more trash talk. Oh yeah, the Dragon Tamer, that's right. Because he's in Left 4 Dead now. Oh boy. But yeah, there's two sides to this argument. There's every single other person in the Discord, and then there's Alex on the other side getting yelled at by like 20 people. So he's a little outnumbered, and he still doesn't think he's wrong. He was wrong, but he doesn't think he was wrong. You have more respect for Rethok than Ali? I don't know. That's a stretch. Alex, I've been saying since start, Tribe is zerging with RL. They're not. Because Alex has been saying that for hours and hours even before the crash. So as soon as he saw that one ninja, he said, "That's it! I solved the mystery!" And doomed Zoo to death. Unfortunate. I mean, they're hitting several of our bases on the ticker right now. I know Hitman just posted in chat that they hit none bases. Oh boy. Ooh, Frosty does point out, when Scott says, "I swear on my life," it's a shame Scott's life is meaningless. It's important to point that out, Frosty. I like Rethok too. Oh yeah, and Tuxedo Marks points out that he was an hour late. And Scott claimed that he was saying just super terrible things to FK about baiting, because I guess for some reason that tilted him so bad. I don't understand it. Hate is a poison, and we're all poisoned. We all have it. Alec is saying the Cancer Crew are crybabies that suicide and quit. I mean, they did suicide and quit and died for no reason. Very accurate. But I understand you got baited on Discord to suicide fleets for some clout. That's your thing, not mine. Alex, the only person in this Discord that has, I think, ever said the word clout. But good God, he says clout a lot. Oh my God. There's so many of these. There's so many of people just saying shit to each other. Mr. Black says he might redo his GM list and put Rethok on top 5 best. We'll see if that happens in the future. Oh my God. What is Alex even saying? We literally handed you the only chance we had to win. Alicus still thinking that RL was coming. Oh my god. Ooh, there's a screenshot here. Fun. I guess this was the tribe sync coming in. Or no, is this the after pile? Yeah, that's all they have left. All they had left on the pile after the crash. This teeny tiny bit. Alicus says to FK, this is why you'll never win a server, kiddo. Hard facts. Oh boy. Scott declares, this is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. God. Scott says, the only person I had to deal with was Alicus. Scott started hitting our bases same time as the crash to reveal the secret Gigazerg pact. Jesus Christ. And yeah, he wrote that RL is pacted to tribe thing for the next several hours, yelling at people and typing in the Discord, yelling at people in voice. Oh my god. We're only halfway through the screenshots. He slayed the dragon. He has reason to celebrate. God. And then it's just Alicus. It's Alicus and Cancer Crew and Scott repeating themselves for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. But let's get to the good part, because we can read these little bits and pieces. I can do bad impressions of everyone except for Celeste. And Celeste was it a spot-on impression. I think we can move ahead towards some audio clips. Which on Monday afternoon, evening, the arguments continued. After the 3 a.m. Scott and Alicus arguments and Cancer Crew and Alicus arguments, they basically just repeated themselves again and again. And you're right, Rethok, the degenerate moron clown, that's in here somewhere, but there's like 100 of them. There's like 100. But we're going to go to, this is Monday afternoon, and Alicus has popped in a chat, and he is telling FK and Alex that they're stupid and dumb.
You're so selfish that you just wanted this outcome at all costs, and fuck what everybody else wants and fuck what everybody else thinks, and especially fuck how everybody else gets affected from your decision to do that and just delete on the people that you committed to play.
Imagine thinking Cancer Crew was going to be good teammates.
Oh, but that fuck up, John. We were good teammates. We were fucking amazing teammates.
Show us one screenshot of someone complaining about us dividing the guild, considering we were the only ones actually trying to play the game, and they were fucking off in 03, not even building fleet.
Not everyone plays the game the same way as you, Alex.
Show us a screenshot of someone complaining. I want to see these other people in the guild.
Listen. We agree with your assessment, and you guys were trying a lot more than everybody else. Not everybody put in 500%, and people were mostly sorry about that. And for that is exactly why we offered you guys to run the ship. Now,
yes, but I already know this. I asked you for evidence of what you're saying. You're saying all these other people in the guild were upset with us. Go on then. Where are the screenshots of that?
Of what?
Of what you just said. You just said that all the other people in the guild were PMing you, saying that we were too divisive.
Yes,
so where are these people saying that then?
What do you mean? What you just want me to paste you some fucking screenshots and show you who, so you can go out and bully them and with
we just want to.
So that kind of goes on for as long as you'd expect. Oh yeah, it's super cringe, dude. Yeah, we're only going to play like a couple minutes throughout. I knew I was just going to play the start of this one, and I was going to jump to literally a random part later. And it's so bad. Yeah, the British voice is Alex in the Discord. That's Games No. Alicus is Alicus. Yeah, the convo is super cringe. We're only announced play a little bit because I was hoping for a new mini server start so I could do a. Why am I talking so much? I'm not any. Don't have anything to do with this. Fun. It's a fun new game.
What is this meme? What does this mean? MSS is Special Olympics, bro. Come on.
It's the same as Speed Server. It's just a fun game mode, dude. It's okay. You don't.
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
but
seriously, dude.
Nobody who respects themselves play this shit. Come on.
No one who respects themselves play as Astro Empires. I thought I was going to randomly jump ahead and get to Scott, but we haven't gotten to Scott yet. Let's see. Let's jump to another part.
Because it's a much better game.
No, it's not.
Oh my god. If we can't get to even just a minute or two of Scott embarrassing himself by telling Alicus to... I don't remember if he actually told Alicus to kill himself, but Scott loses his mind here. He loses it, dude. Oh my god. Let's find it. Oh yeah, this is definite Alicus for Scott here.
Just blame everything on RL is like the most tilted thing in the world.
Scott is standing up for the little guy. They're getting that about this.
Oh boy, here we go again. George, get the camera.
Everyone mute.
Get the camera.
Anytime, just start.
This is such a tease, guys. It sounded like it was about to go off, and then it didn't. I'll fast forward a bit.
Not a good thing.
There you go.
First, we establish where your fleets are, and then we,
You have
especially
no argument.
with the
You're literally
value of
just-
fleet, the
You're literally
value
just
of
a
having
shit human
fleet.
being, shit leader, shit strategist, shit at AE. You're the joke of the community. All you do is just get farmed out and then try and pull this bullshit where you just blame everyone else. Oh, how about that time you killed 60 people? Wait, it was you killed 400 people with 60, but that was rounded
Yeah.
up. That was
It's called
dope.
Ixion. It's
You're
a
so
server
cool.
where people played and they were good.
That was
I'm sure you
dope.
can't relate, but
Yeah, you're dope, dude.
it is a thing that happened. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm sure that definitely happened. That
I
sounds
mean,
believable.
yeah, things happened before you played and and infiltrated the game with your soccer. So that is true. I don't know why this is a
I'm
thing
just
that's
saying,
being debated.
Real quick, super sick burn by Alicus saying this got infiltrated the game with his sucking. That is a sick fucking burn. But that's kind of how Scott takes it. He tells Alicus he's the worst human being in literally every facet that a human being can be terrible. And Alicus says that it's Scott's fault that he lost the crash. There's a lot more of this. This video, the clip here, goes for another 32 minutes. 32 minutes. The other video was like almost half an hour long. I have about an hour of Alicus and other people arguing about all this dumb nonsense. No. No, Ben, we are not going to listen to any more of this. Because if anyone that mattered was ever listening to this, they'd say, oh, I heard this person say these terrible things. You'll never get a job again. Specifically Scott. No. We're not going to be doing any more. Well, actually, we might do a little bit more. I got to make sure that Baylor is ready. Okay, cool, yeah. Baylor's ready. We're not listening to any more of that drivel. But good God, this was maybe the most dramatic week of Astro Empires I have seen in my life. It were just more and more of the same people arguing and repeating themselves over and over and over and over. I can't make it available for personal pleasure. It's too evil. What am I going to do? Upload that to YouTube? It's going to get taken down for all the kinds of hate speech in the world. How can I do that? How could I possibly do that? On Speed Server, there are still things happening now. Zoo, all their players didn't quit. Only about, I think, 5 or 6 players quit in Zoo, and they merged into Left 4 Dead. Because the bigger enemy is obviously Scott. Me covering up for Scott? What are you talking about, Alicus? Anyway, Zoo has now merged into Left 4 Dead. And so, what is it? Left 4 Dead and Tribe, they're now gearing up to fight against Scott in RL and 04. And Scott is now very mad about that. As he's mad about everything. Yep, DD Lord points out, we know Scott tilts for no reason. He's a tilter now. Because he thought he could control China, and he couldn't control China. And it's been a rough few months since that happened for Scott. So really, F in chat for Scott. For Scott's mental health, because it's been gone. I've released enough of the tapes, Alicus. It is too much. Maybe one day in the future. Maybe. I don't even know how much more I can talk about this. It's such a disaster. It's such a mess. I can show screenshots. I can do bad voice acting. I can play the clips. but it's ridiculous. Speed server's still going on. The guilds in 08, Meow's guild, they're not doing anything anymore. Scott's guild versus Rethok's 2 guilds, which now has Alicus now. If I don't play the part where I call him out on his hate speech, then I am complicit. Huh, I guess I'm complicit. I guess, what am I going to do? Play the other 32 minutes of this clip? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But all right, boys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Baylor. We're going to talk about some things that are much more civilized. And we're going to be nice adults. We're going to be normal. We're going to not be crazy. And we'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, we're back with Baylor here. How you doing today, Baylor?
Jordan, doing pretty good today.
All right. So, but even before we talk about Utopia, before we talk about Antares, before we talk about Utopia, how did you think about all that speed server nonsense? Wasn't that, would you agree it's basically the worst of the community at its worst?
I can't disagree with that. I heard about it. I heard that I had someone who told me about it, and a lot of people were pretty mad because they expected to have a fair, fun, winnable numbers crash, and I guess they got abandoned by their allies in their darkest hour. And I think, I think Scott's right. I think, that I would have also been very upset if I was in the loser position of that crash. Not, that they're losers. They just lost a crash, and they, it sounded like they pretty much had it from what you summed up.
But yeah, it was just a mess, and yeah, feelings are still ready to flare at any moment. People say they want to hear all the terrible things that that mostly Scott and Alicus say to each other, but we're not gonna, not today. We're gonna talk about you and your guilds and the servers that you play. We're gonna move it on. We're gonna be civilized humans. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah, well, there's so I have three parts for us. We're going to talk about Utopia, then and how. Utopia here and now, and finally the conclusions, I guess, for Antares. And that crash on, what was it, Speed Saver, that makes, and my crash was clean. It was at least a clean crash. We had 1.6 bill versus 1.4 bill defender, and nobody recalled at the last minute. Scott didn't switch sides and fight for Trace, or it was a clean crash, and it was a great crash. It was fun. Everybody who was there on the 10s, had high praises for it. So that was Utopia Crash 1. And interestingly, you kind of have the same guilds, same leaders, same clusters, and on Antares, you have really a lot of the same people. And
yeah,
we didn't premeditate or intend for it to be like that. It just sort of evolved that way on dual concurrent servers. So yeah, you got some extra wild cards like Alicus, Reddy, 40s. You got extra guilds in the 20s, some pretty decent, who were on the Magic school bus, and they drove that bus pretty hard. But back to Utopia, on January 19, 2020, we launched 1.6 bill total, mostly on time, versus 1.4 billion total. I gave you some pictures of that. And they moved 1.4 bill defender under us. They had an advantage in very large average fleet. our first 1 minute, less than 750 mil total, and then our first 5 minutes, much better, 1.2 bill. And I think me and Woden were looking at that first minute, thinking, yeah, that's a yikes. But the first 5 minutes is pretty good, and really it was too good. It was too good to recall. It's not like we were going to get a better launch on a Saturday night on a fresh wormhole swap, and we never even seriously considered or discussed recall. So we went forward, and at the time, Slippin' Jimmy was saying, there's no way Scott and Baylor are going to land. We're going to blast them out of the sky. We're going to chain suicide accounts. They're going to do this and that and the third. And, he seemed pretty serious. It seemed like he thought he was going to win the Glory Crash. And, he was a wild man at the time. And as you know, as any serious person knows, if you have 1.4 bill worth of fleet and defender and averages, you have killing power to clear at least 1.4 bill worth of fleet as they're landing on you piecemeal.
Yeah.
So really, we all thought it was going to be a lot more dicey than it was,
but it wasn't.
It wasn't even like they could have killed if they had killed Tsar, if they had killed Sparty, like if they had made like 2 more hits, it really should have been a lot closer. But it was essentially an equal numbers crash, 2 teams, similar size, strength, and skill, 1.6 B v 1.4 B, and we're getting down to the wire, and we just landed and totally destroyed them.
Because I believe a big thing that happened in that wormhole crash against BFG is that they had a lot of piloted accounts there, which they talked about after the fact, but they had a lot of piloted accounts that were rather not, they didn't have their own individual pilots. So it was people trying to click attack more than once, and if you have that many fake piloted accounts,
you're going to get flummoxed. You're not going to even really make your one attack.
Yeah.
So they said, I think it was like 40% vacant rate was the number that was thrown around. And yeah, that sounds about right. We expected a hard landing, and, we landed on a beanbag, essentially.
Yeah, because that was one practically first wave. Because I remember, because I wasn't paying attention to Utopia at all. I think I had launched like an hour late. And
I think you were pretty close. You were like, I thought you were more like 20 minutes, but like
I don't remember. So but like after everything, but after like everything had settled, like I'd seen a message from Mr. Black. He's like, "Hey, we could really use your fleet in the crash." And by the time I logged in, which is not that much later, it was already over.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a lot closer, that it wouldn't be the dust settled so quickly, and I wasn't so sure. I didn't think we would lose, but I didn't think we'd like win necessarily in the first stage. But I was basically playing Trust Falls with Mr. Black on the other side of the wormhole, and Cancer Crew's mistake was they played Trust Falls in their crash with Alicus, and how'd that work out for them? Not great. But again, they deserve to, it's too bad. It's just too bad to lose a crash like that. And, I would have been in the same, it's not often that, I fully empathize with, Frosty and Scott, but, it's too bad. It's too bad to lose a crash like that when you have all those factors as they were.
Yeah. So that was pretty much everything about the BFG first crash. So where did we come to about, I think, roughly 6 weeks ago? I forget exactly where it was, but when the teens on Utopia, they launched through the wormhole right before it moved, which was cute.
Right. It was kind of like, wait. Yeah. We thought, like, wait, did they launch after, or we just weren't really sure, like, what play was there? But, so they launched, and, so I, back to the last crash very, very quickly, though, the winners, so basically the winners of that crash, I was very satisfied with the work product and the partnership that, and the work that me and Scott and Woden put into that crash. And, I thought he was a good and faithful crash ally, and it was just great. It was just the greatest crash I've ever been involved with. And, then I, retired once again, full of victory and satisfaction. And Scott and Belwar said, not so fast. And now the winners of that crash, we're basically going to go again, and they started that war. They declared on me, and it expanded into Elo RD versus Tens and BFG.
Because I think those party lines for Utopia were drawn a lot based off of Antares.
And they really kind of were, because, like, so, I mean, you become friends with the people you trust, and, Scott was enfolding and allying with Trace at the time, and he was kind of like lying and spying to me, and I told him my plan for Antares, so Trace knew that he had China and I didn't have China, and then he didn't tell Cloak that, so like they were already kind of enfolding, and it just kind of happens naturally when you start playing with those guys, and they're really good friends with Belwar and Trace and Jimmy, and they're all there together on Antares, and now they're together on Utopia. So I think we're pretty much. I mean, it just ended up in a natural alliance. It just developed that way.
Yeah,
And
because really it is. Yeah, I think your side is.
It's more interesting side, but
yeah, I think your side is the Zeros and RD side it's the stronger side for sure.
Yeah, so we and for the first part of the server, Black was against me and Scott was my main ally in the crash against Trace, and now Scott and Trace are together again on Antares and Utopia, and I'm with Black, and so it's interesting. It's a pretty interesting change up, and it's you can't say that it was really just kind of worked out that way. And so there's a lot of details. There's too many details really, but I'll try to give you a few. And I thought there'd be a longer grace period, so I thought we were chilling. I thought we were cool. I thought I was gonna like smoke a joint with Scott IRL. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really think that, but so we just didn't really do anything with it for a while, and we thought maybe they were gonna launch on us because they had 1.25x, and I actually did try a solo launch on them, and that didn't work, and it kind of had an upside for us, I think. And so did you show the screenshot of the yeah, there it is, that's the green and the blue, right?
Yeah.
And I thought about like, how am I going to narrate the numbers for this, and like just look at it. I mean, this is what certain people are complaining about. They're like 3 bill versus 3 bill defender. Yeah, we killed 200 mil BFG since the numbers were taken. Sure, we're going to have some numerical advantage mitigated by heavy defender advantage and different options for how Woden's going to play that. So like it's 3 bill versus 3 bill. It's probably the fairest crash in the history, pending crash, in the history, recent history at least. And it's there's going to be a process, and at the end of it, it's going to be, I think, a really fun, significant crash.
Scott's saying in chat that you guys, if you had launched through the teams, you would have had them.
Well, so we really didn't, because we launched 720 mil sync, and some of that was like caps that didn't really have proper protection ahead of it, and then like the total was 1.5 bill tens almost. So I didn't really think that was anywhere near a sure thing. I thought it looked like we were going to land on twice as much total.
Yeah.
Because like they moved the base, so they had 500 mil to begin with, and then they quickly moved 1 billion fleet and from mid cluster, and I underestimated them. I thought they were a lot more inactive than they were. So they rallied, and they had a plan. We kind of inferred that they had a plan, and so after the solo launch and the recall, then RD and Elo, we were going to launch on 19, and we realized something, and we decided, why don't we launch on the 30s instead? And so we killed 200 mil there, and we were pacted with Rich, and we saw BFG massing on the wormhole. There was kind of some urgency. It seemed like they had a little bit of step in their stride, and so we were kind of not sure that the pact was going to hold if we were in trouble. We didn't really have confidence, and I had messaged Rich in April when the 10s first launched on us, and I was basically complaining about the dirty drop, and I wasn't really looking for anything specific. I wasn't asking him to do anything for me. I was just kind of looking for anything, something, And later on, I didn't, I got nothing from that. And then I sent him some trades, and they didn't get posted, and I just wanted some trades, and I thought he was going to post them, and he was going to send me some trades, and I was going to post those and send him trades. And
what are you talking about? What?
I thought Rich and me were going to do like trade diplomacy, and I was just trying to get a vibe from him, I was just trying to get a vibe. And so anyway, we just kind of took it for granted that, BFG was going to not give us 7 days if we were in trouble. So we decided to launch on the 30s and, kind of take charge there and super farm all the way to 39. And I mean, to be honest, like I think me and Black were both wondering after a few exchanges with Rich. I think we're like wondering, like, is this guy even authorized to say anything at all of original thought or response? So I think the play, or rather the call from whoever, Trace or whoever, was to just kind of just sandbag it until after the scheduled launch, and they would have had us launch on U19, and we would have either, if something would have happened and TENS and BFG, they could have at that point had a viable second wave to maybe take the pile, and we just kind of decided to farm the 30s instead.
Yep, and Mr. Black points out that even Trace came back on Discord after like a week or two absence to talk more shit about whatever.
Well, that was part of it, like Jimmy was, he was hyped up in Scott's defense, and the passion was kindled, and we just kind of assumed that BFG had this kind of revenge plot, more against, like, because RD didn't really directly crash them, but I know that RD was hated by BFG. They took a lot of the blame for the loss, even though Elo and Scott dirbed them. So that's it's a little bit that's a little bit of detail there.
Yep, Scott just posted in chat some slightly different numbers. I guess. Do you see them in chat? Yeah.
I have it on my, because the way I have it set up, new numbers 2 point. Okay, well, so yeah, we killed some of your fleet. Now you have a little bit less. That's how it works generally. But
Thank you for saying that, because I knew Scott was dropping it. Like, I can't believe that the numbers were different.
Yeah, and I said that. I took those numbers, and that was before we did 200 mil BFG. So again, it's like you got 3 billion, you got 3 billion on the other side, and it's there's going to be some variance. Who's next door in the crash system when you take this. But it's basically 3 bill versus 3 bill, 1v1, as fair crash as ever there's been in the game, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't really think that, as far as strategy, like, first of all, they started a war. They wanted to cut Elo down to size, and now it's even more Steven than at the start. So that I just thought they would like it. I thought, like Scott, Belwar, Jimmy, Chase, Cloak,
because I know why. Because I know why. I know why Scott did it on Utopia, and it was unrelated to Antares. Because Scott didn't like what happened on Antares from like day one, basically, and him dropping pact with you guys in Pearl Harboring, which I agree is always the best way to drop a pact. No notice, just go for it. And he's basically, it was just for fuck it. Why not?
I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was like, all right, I thought it was fair play. I thought it was, I thought the alliance was, again, I'm a sentimentalist, so I would have kept the pact for a little longer, and I would have probably I would at some point dropped it. I said, all right, I'm not coming after you guys, and we just go back to what we were before the 30s counter alliance, which is, historical non-diplomacy and non-confrontation, and that opens up the sandbox for ninja ops and larger. So that's probably how I would have done it a little bit later on. But I'm happy to take the fight, and numerically speaking, Trace had a pretty easy win, assuming they had the activity for those 1.4 bill defenders, and we can win, we could lose. Anyone can win or lose when you're talking about numbers like these, and so I just don't really think that Scott should be like telling his guild, like, hey guys, we kind of suck and we're probably going to lose. I don't personally agree with that, and I don't think it's true either. I think they have a very strong defender's chance of winning 3B versus 3B. So I think that now that I see that there's a bigger picture on Speedster, I'm gonna say he was probably, there was cross server tilt. He was tilted on one server, and then this happened, and I think he's over it now, and I think we're just gonna have fun.
Yeah, and also Scott, you're like I think you're still his all-time favorite person to like call out in the Discord. So
I mean, I feel like we should have been best friends. I feel like if we knew each other in college, we would have been like anchoring like our own show by now. I think like me and him both have like a pretty good radio. And I know Scott, he's always kind of been against me. He's always been against me on every server I've been, pretty much except that one crash. And that was a personal delight for me. And again, I thought we were cool. I thought we were chilling, but he still wanted to derb me, and now he's basically forcing me to derb his in Belwar's guild, and I just roll with the punches. This is how I've always tried to be.
Yeah. And hold on just a minute, Baylor. We have a nope. I clicked the wrong thing. Play the right song. Oh my god. All right.
Well, I have it on.
Okay, good. I played the right song now. Guys, we have a live update from the Mystic server. Hold on, let me pull up the right screen here.
Oh, that's right. Wait, shit, I forgot to hire someone. But
let's close this down. Oh my god. On the Mystic server, the Alliance of Spaz and Bust have just launched through the wormhole to the 09 wormhole, attacking the Triad Guild.
I think
oh my god. 12 hours away. I didn't know this was happening until this exact moment. End of it. Yeah, so I'm glad I was able to post that immediately. So it looks like we're going to have some shit going down on Mystic later tonight.
Well, it's interesting how the servers, they kind of like sleep for a long time and then they all start crashing in waves. It seems like you have Nexus, Speed, Antares, like just kind of dominoes one after another. And I think it reflects the player base. That there's a demand to just crash it and have these fights. And then I have people who are like 7-year people from Nova, mostly 1-year people, to be honest. And the more it's basically a brand new guild creation. And we have a few old people, but if you were like a Nova guy, that was a 5 crash server. Kepler was a 4 crash server. I wasn't Lynx, but that was a 5 or 6 crash server. So I think that you can summarize a server in terms of how many good fights you got out of it. And we're making up for lost time on Utopia. We can get that second one, pretty quick.
Yeah, because I think the activity also gearing up again on Mystic is directly due to Nexus, because when a lot of the people quit on Nexus after they lost, they said, we're going to fill accounts on Mystic and we're going to take it to them on Mystic. And then they tried like one launch and recalled it. And I think they're still sitting on a wormhole from that. So we just launched on that now.
No, that's a good play. You guys have been playing Mystic a really long time. And I remember when Mystic, they let DPS lead their forces in the very early Mystic Zeros. And you had, an amazing crash, the Ninja Affair in M26 or whatever it was. So that's they've been playing that server for a very long time, and it's if you're patient, if you don't quit, like Trace was on the Discord saying like, hey, you crashed us and you realize we were pretty much like half dead and mass quit already, right? And I don't really know what to make of that, because like they were winning for most of the server and we were losing for most of it, and we didn't mass quit. And I don't know, it's usually pretty easy to keep people if you're getting crashed in a month and it's going to be really close. I usually am able to talk people back into their account for the crash. So I just don't know about like mass quitting before you've actually been beaten. I've never personally done it, and I'm a little bit worried about
like we've seen that a few times in the past like 6 months.
We do, yeah. I feel like I'm worried about them. I care about them, to be honest, on Antares, and it just seems like they've already given up, and USSR is just going to sit down and not launch unless the 30s also launches on 20s, and then they're going to recall. And like I'm a lot smaller than the other clusters, so I actually have kind of an excuse for not doing anything. But like if I send away half our fleet, then we're going to get immediately mega-zigged by clusters that have
Baylor's going to actually get to, or not Baylor, Belwar is going to actually land in 09. But because all USSR has done is they briefly landed in the 40s, and then some OPA fleet was missing, and they immediately went back, and that was it.
I really thought he was going to land this time, and it would have been happening like now. It would have been happening 4 minutes ago, and I looked at the numbers, and Belwar knew the total numbers that he launched, and he knew roughly what CC was going to be able to muster. So I really thought he was going to land this time, and
Well, I'll tell you a secret. Belwar keeps me up to date on like all the things that he's doing. And he was messaging me a few hours before the show, and he was considering just waiting until 1 hour before landing to recall just to.
Well, he knows when ANN is, so
Yes.
you know, it's so the time. So he timed it like, as the broadcast was, kind of like at the meaty part of the ANN. I don't know. I mean, I like Belroy's style. He likes if you at first you don't succeed, just try
trying,
again.
yeah.
And then eventually you get a win. You become like Alicus, and you become the first GM to actually win a crash on Antares and establish dominance over Cloak as the dominant alliance leader within the 30s.
Which is still baffling. That
it's
not baffling that he was able to do it, but the fact that Cloak let it happen.
Well, that he let it happen. That
Yeah.
so it reflects sort of like the new AE, where like you can't really just coup guilds the way that I used to on Myra. You need to really do like more soft power, hearts and minds, and guilds are a lot more established.
Yeah.
So you just can't really like do that the way
No,
you
you
used
can't.
to. So
No.
people want to follow a winner, they want to follow a fighter. So I think it's going to come as a relief for Cloak after Nexus, after A40s, to allow the rise of Alicus. And I think Alicus is the future of A30s, if I'm being perfectly honest. And he's willing to. I just think the whole like running away from the crash at the last 10 minutes, it seems out of character for him.
Does.
It
he was because what had happened is Alicus had convinced himself that Scott's Guild RL was like secretly pacted to the other guild, and they were like also going to come. Like he was convinced of himself of that for days before then. So as soon as he saw some fleet on the server, he's like, I knew it. That was it. And he said he got
yeah. So he I've sort of had moments of doubt, but the Utopia crash wasn't one of them. I knew that I was confident in what we were doing, and I wasn't there with the numbers, so it sounds like he got scared and ran away in the last 10 minutes, and it was a really close crash, and FK only needed like one or two more fleets to change the outcome, but such as it is.
Yeah, but it is what it is. And let's going back to the Antares 30s real quick, and like the Alicus being the actual power there. I thought it was a huge mistake for Cloak in his alliance to let Alicus live, because Alicus is going to be very independent of them and grow stronger and stronger, and so eventually that's going to come back to bite him.
So now that he's gotten away with it, right? I'm sure they thought
he's
about it.
He's gotten away with it twice. Because he's killed two of their allies twice.
Wait, who was the other one he killed?
He killed the 40s guild they were allied to, and they ate Box, who was part of that 30s alliance, and they said, well, we're going to kick out Box first, and we're just going to eat him. Yep.
Oh, wow. That's wow. Okay, well, so this, again, that's more like the Alicus I know. So, like, I don't know if he was having a bad day. I don't know, like, if somebody said something, like, I really don't know. Like everybody has a bad day, and, so obviously I take the side of Frosty, not debating Scott, but, I just say, I like Alicus. I think he makes the game fun, and he usually crashes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But anyway, back to the 30. I didn't know that he just ate one of Cloak's sub guilds, and
Box was part of they were part of that whole group.
I knew they were minus
30s, but
one.
they were
I noticed wait a
one.
minute, they're definitely minus one guild. There were like 5, and now they're 4. And I figured I didn't know that he ate one of them, but that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, let me change
the way
to
I
some
see it.
Antares numbers. I still have the Utopia. These are the Baylor numbers. Because the 20s and zeros, they're basically together. You can lump them together, and in the zeros are just by far the smallest cluster. Yeah.
So 40s, I don't really have any. Like 40, they exist. They exist, but I'm not counting on them, and I don't. I've talked to the guy. I mean, it's impressive, to survive like that, and they got persecuted, and the free 40s won. They overcame the Zerg, and I mean, it's just great. It's just great for people who wanted to be looking for a little inspiration. And what was I going to say about
someone in chat, you'll never guess who, said, doesn't SF have a sub guild?
Well, we have a sub guild, but the scenario would be if like FK ate my sub guild, and I was like, all right, well, I guess what now, FK? You're in charge. And so it's yeah, we have a sub guild, but yeah. So is that on the? So I took the top 25 and I sorted them, and there's another block of like. So I think they have more fun, like I mean, to say like rank 19 to 25 guilds. They got some on there. They got like China and they got 1 in 20s. You know, so there's some sub guilds, and these don't really move the numbers a whole lot. So I'm just kind of focusing on the main guilds, you know. And it's a realistic picture of the actual forces that you're going to be able to bear. So, you know, when I say 3x Zerg, like I'm talking about, you know, like 10s relative to just me. They have like not quite twice as much as the two next biggest clusters combined, but they're able to draw from that and project like 3x Zerg against me if in isolation. So, you know, when you ally the two biggest clusters, and it kind of naturally gives everyone a reason to be against you, and then they're like scratching their heads and
because it's the worst kept secret. It's been the worst kept secret on Antares that there's an unspoken pact between the two for the last at least month or so.
Yeah, I mean everybody knows that. So yeah, you know, there's degrees of compartmentalization, but you know, it's like it's a thing. You know, they have a marriage alliance, and Trace is kind of like the grand server overlord of the two clusters.
Oh no! I'd say it's Cloak. I'd say it's Cloak because Trace isn't. I don't think Trace is actually doing anything. I would say it's Cloak between the two for sure.
Yeah, you definitely. So, but I think that like now that you know Cloak is enabling the rise of Alicus, I think Alicus is because again Trace isn't really doing anything. So I think that he might reform the alliance. I think Belwar and Alicus have a style. They might co-op together and like to. I think they'll either reform the alliance or. You know, I think Alicus will be able to bring Trace to heel and be like, hey, you know, you're not going to push around Cloak so much anymore. You know, I may have derbed Cloak's, you know, box guild. I derbed his ally in the 40s, and now his back door is permanently open. And, you know, it's not like Cloak is going to derb Alicus because then, you know, after Alicus derbed
30s are wide open, and Alicus loves cockroaching. He loves cockroaching and just like fighting gorilla. He loves it. And all of his dudes, most of his dudes do. So,
and I think it's brilliant. Like I kind of wish that I was Alicus in the 30s, just masterfully like, and like I don't really think Cloak is going to fight him for it. When I think it's just going to be a natural kind of, you know, transition. You know, I think Cloak will want Alicus to be the new guy of the 30s, like when they let DPS lead them on Mystic.
Because if I was in like the teens,
I think it's going to be really good for the start. I think it's going to be great. I think you're going to get like a lot of crashes, and it's just going to. It's all about just you know frequent.
Yeah, but the 10s and 30s are making it hard to crash because, like, while the 30s are going up to the 40s, the teens are not doing as much. Belwar's trying to do things and they're not. If I was in the 10s or 30s position, I would make more of an effort to kill you guys in the zeros. You guys are smaller, you're an easier target, and if you get taken out because it's easier to take you out, less fleet is required to do it. That weakens the 20s as well, because then, like if we have an ally in the zeros and they're dead or they got invaded, like that really weakens the people they're against. But they're not making that move. They're too afraid to leave their bases even partially open, which is a bummer.
There. Yeah, so like I wasn't rushing P rings the way that Go did, but I finished. I mean, even my plants. No, I think my plants are like. Let me check, but you know, zeros is ringed. No, I'm ahead of the curve.
Hold on 1 second, Baylor. Spartan, there's 300 million fleet in the 30s. Why would the 20s come up there when there's so much more fleet in the 30s? Shut up, Spartan. Go ahead, Baylor.
Yes, my planet rings are actually finished. So that means zeros is ringed by now, and I mean that if you guys still want to invade, you know, I mean, good luck, because it's like, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to get derbed like Mystic 26. I just don't really think they're ever going to invade the zeros because we built rings and they just want to kind of farm and crush it. And I really have so not including Belwar, you know, because Belwar likes to launch a 9, and man, I really thought he was going to land this time. I thought they'd be crushing, like, right. I would have had to cut this short, but yeah, I mean, Belwar deserves a lot of credit for trying. You know, I don't. Like, I'd rather, like, just, you know, not waste the effort and time and other people's time on... I just feel like it taxes the guild and, you know, the people. And, you know, I had a bunch of people launch for me at, you know, 1 a.m. U.S. East, and it's a tough time, and it's like I got some really solid people, and I know that there were other people who wanted to launch, but it was just a really god awful time of night. So I think you don't want to like ride your people too hard, if you know what I'm saying.
No, you need to be like old Cloak and just yell at his people and be terrible.
Well,
so that way you can do the guild again.
That fake recall PM, like why it was so good, it's because anyone who was in the guild, it was like, oh my god, that looks like a Cloak announcement.
Yeah,
it's like
it looked just like a Cloak announcement, and
it looked just like it. It was like it was red. It was size 6. It had like all the right word choices, and it was just it looked so much like the real deal. And I think that's why. And it wouldn't. And that was part of it, but it wouldn't have worked if you didn't have. You had people with an itchy trigger finger on the recall button, and they ultimately wanted to recall. So whoever that they. It just kind of, it was kind of crazy for them.
Oh yeah, because that whole breakdown. Oh yeah, let's talk about Mirror for a second. Because that crash. Because we had Tuzik had come down to help you guys to kill China. And it was before Dreadnoughts, so we were just gonna due to numbers, we were gonna help you guys kill China. And Cloak and Velatin, like those were the two guys calling the shots, and they were just like, no, even though you guys are here, we have the jump on them. We're gonna wait for Dreads. And so we just were there and waiting. And
we did have. I was the largest dread stack, and Misery was also a significant dread stack. You say you guys, and I was like, I joined Lestat for that server, and I kind of like he was how I got into Royal originally. So I'm like, all right, well, this is an off-brand server, and
and all the people that were like, we haven't played with Cloak before, because there were a lot of people that had like played with me on the prior servers, and they were like including like Pipe Layer, like my best Astro friend was like, I just want to do like one of those like pro guilds, like just for once. Like I know we've been having fun. And then they all went, a lot of people that were my friends went to play with the Cloak, and every single one of them was like, this is the fucking dirt worst. This is the worst
experience. Name recognition, GM. I think it's, if you've never been in a, like a Baylor guild before, right? It's like, all right, well, this should be pretty interesting and, hopefully a pretty good server. And I think we were all kind of like, what?
What is this Cloak? Yeah, what is Cloak all about? And then all these people got in and they're like, oh, this is way worse than how First was. This is way worse than Swords of Truth or First. Oh my god!
You didn't necessarily have that perspective, and I felt for you and this was actually like the first time that you and me ever kind of like
interacted at all.
Yeah, like that we ever like knew that there was a Jordash or about So I was using a different name before Myra, right? So the first time that. So I was in the Skype chat, and I had basically ghosted with my caps and some other fleets, and I remember you wrote in the channel in all caps, "Where the fuck is Baylor?" And I disappeared, and I took other. I remember, and I took other caps with me, and they were trying to crash China in 2, and so I was neutral. I started that server neutral. It's like I was just like, you know what, like. Had enough, it's like I just decided, it was pretty funny, and it was so you had the fake recall PM, and then because this is what happened before that, right? I was talking to my boy Cascadia, he wasn't capped that server, but he's usually capped, and he was like, "Yo, we're launching on 2, and we're already in the air. Like, looks like we're pretty screwed. Like, do you have something for us?" And I'm thinking, I got something, but I'm not really sure if it's going to work, So then, a bunch of fleets recalled, and it completely sabotaged the launch. And then, in the middle of the night, a bunch of us disappeared, and then we went to the 20s, and we were power farmed for a little bit, but, it worked out in our favor. And
because that once you guys split, like I was like, I'm abandoning Cloak, because I was like, his guild has been cooed, it's fucked. We're like, we're getting our fleet the fuck out of here.
Well, and after that, it's like it was no longer winnable.
Oh yeah, it was no longer winnable. Because Cloak delayed the launch for weeks, and if we had just launched weeks before we had the numbers, it was easiest win of our lives, or probably the easiest win of our lives. But it was super winnable. But he delayed it and fucked us all. Although it fucked me.
Yeah, I didn't have as much of a perspective. I didn't. I was kind of new to this whole big tiny because an early game crash is not billions, but it's in some ways it's harder than you have a clear picture of the end game, but I didn't really have as close an eye on the numbers as you did. I don't really remember. Yeah, but you said you thought that they should have been more aggressive in pushing their. Yeah, they had Tuzik. Like, what the fuck? They had everything they had in the series, and then they had a whole other
another guild with a ton of fleet and great averages, and like it was a 2-1, and he didn't want to take the fight. It was
I can't.
I couldn't believe
so
it.
I just remember. So I don't really remember. I just remember the time. I was like, if I have to read one more size equals 6 red angry anno, I'm just gonna fucking take over this guild and derb cloak and take his guild and sabotage his launch and everything.
Yeah, because just everybody in that guild, unless they were just super in love with Cloak, they were like, "Fuck this!" They were ready to go to join you and go with HH. And real quick, Mr. Black just sent Mr. Black just sent me a screenshot of something from Utopia. There was just a free scout tap for a 500k pillage on Utopia.
So I'm actually not that. Yes, there is a lot of milk and honey in U39 right now. Like I'm just not that active of a farmer, but if you're a super farmer, then U30s is the place to be. It's the land of milk and honey. It feels like they intended to glorify us with derbs, or I don't know what they were thinking. They rebuilt their fleets for some purpose, and I don't dislike Rich. I don't really know him. I feel like I made I think we made the right move, and
I think strategically is a good move too. I'm not in a very active Astro mode. Like I'm doing this thing every week, but I'm not doing much in game at all. So I'm glad to be in the rear guard back in.
518k from a scout tab. That's crazy, dude. That means I have to log on right now, and they're already all the bases are already launched on.
Yeah,
this is nothing for me. Damn it. Anyway, but that's fine. Because I made that's the play style I chose. I'm doing a little more macro. I have other things I'm trying to do right now, and and so I could be farming, but it's good to leave targets for the people.
I mean, I kind of agree with that. If you're being the leader, you should be focusing on the macro. If you're the GM and you have the best account in your guild, there's something wrong with your guild, because you should be focusing on getting your players into being in the position to have the best accounts and working more on that.
So my account should be better than it is. I kind of forgot to actually play my account, but so I think I should be a little bit higher than I am, but at the same time I'm just I'm more philosophical. I'm just kind of satisfied with the just kind of the big picture, if you know what I
mean. Yeah, I know exactly. Yes. It makes sense to me.
But I think the base is pretty good. I don't want to hear all these excuses. You had old excuses, new excuses with the first crash and then the upcoming one, and I'm not convinced. I think they have 3 billion fleet, they have defender. It's the fairest fight possible in a game such as this, and I want Scott to be I just feel like the whole history of me and Scott is I want to be best friends with him, and then I don't know, I feel like we just got off the wrong foot and we stayed there kind of.
Because I think if the teens and 30s actually get their remaining active fleet together, that will be a hard target to crash. Because I know, I don't know if BFG has pilots yet, but I know that BYOB, they have most of their accounts, they have pilots for them. They do, so they'll be harder to crash.
Yeah, because it's not going to be 40% vacant, right? They were the U38 crash, and they fought very well. Sean was there, Refak was there, Scott was there, and they were closer to.
I'm surprised Refak launched to the correct wormhole.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean, he was the leader of the other guys on speed servers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the guild that launched on Alicus.
Yeah, I don't still fully know who was who on which sides, but so I thought about asking CC, hey, you guys mind if I just so I didn't really think about. I thought about it at one point. I didn't really actually think about asking them, but it's here's what I thought was going to happen, right? I figured it's going to be 1v3 again, and they're going to win, because they always do. And I'm not going to join some mega failed 3, and I'm not going to do the last speed server again, So it's whether it's whichever side of the 1v3 you're on, I just feel like I dodged something that wouldn't have been necessarily pleasant either way. I would have somehow been on accidentally the winning side of the, so I don't know if it was 3 versus 1 or what was it, but it sounds like they got kind of dirty dropped out of a winnable crash.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to talk about a lot of servers today. We got some Utopia, we got some Antares talk. Even I got to force in some Mystic talk there.
Well, and the last thing I want to add is like this is something that's been puzzling me and I've been thinking about, and I'm thinking like, why did Trace not tell Cloak that China was with him and China wasn't with me? Like, I just really can't understand why anyone would like. He knew that China was with him and it wasn't with me, so like I just really don't get it, because Scott knew my plan. Scott was with Trace, and so I got talking with Cloak, and I got talking to him, and I'm like, you know what, I kind of like this guy. So
yeah, Cloak's super nice. I like new Cloak.
He's great. He's great. So I was like, I got to talking to him in the text. So I'm like, I really kind of like this guy. I choose not to, start on top of him with my fake Zerg that doesn't exist. When we agreed that I would go zeros and he would go 30s, and I really can't understand why. Like, this is what I would have done if I was Trace. I would have said, bro, he doesn't have China, right? He probably doesn't have anything.
I don't think that Trace and Cloak were actually in cahoots before the server. I don't think that they were.
There's layers of mystery, and I just really can't understand why Trace would help me, trick 200 people.
Well, because he didn't want. I guess he didn't want other people to know that he had China, because he wanted to just crush whoever he contested. I think he was following that.
Yes, but like, wouldn't he rather have Cloak in the zeros? Like, it's just weird. It's just kind of weird. So I'm not playing. I'll just, how we always kind of get tricked into playing the new server. So I'm just putting it out early and often. I am not personally. I go every other server anyway. That's just a historical for me, the usual. So B3, it's just not my time. It's not my fight, and maybe Skycore will be the ones to lead the next allied.
Yeah, we need to our guilds need to like collectively not go destroy Skycore, so they can like bring more people to the next server, so there's more people actually playing this game.
They're only 8 right now, and I have kind of my perspective, and I'm thinking like, why me? Like, not as like a bad thing. I'm just like actually, why me? Why not Trace? Why not? And I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys wouldn't give them a mercy pact, but I sent them a message. Like, they didn't write to me. I saw that they were thinking about writing to me. So I wrote to them first, and I said, hey, this is what I can offer you, and we'll see if they take the very reasonable deal. It's very reasonable. It's just full of justice, and it reflects my good character. And I just if they help me, then they don't have to worry about me.
Yeah.
But basically, what I told them, right? Here's what I told them. I told them they have 8 people right now. I don't care where they settled. They're in zero. They're wherever the hell they are. But they're gonna like recruit 42 people. First of all, I asked them, all right, how many people are you gonna recruit until your guild is maxed? And I want you to colonize 4, and I want you to farm Thog. And then that seems. I think that's fair. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they're gonna learn. Like, they don't realize how good they have it. Like, don't you think that CC had? Don't you think they'd rather have had like a Baylor guild in their crash instead of like an Alicus guild? Like, so they really don't know how. Like, I'll show them. And I don't know how. I don't even know if they're serious about A3. I don't know if it's just kind of like, like I don't know. We'll find out, but we'll see when they write back to me.
Yep, because I know for B3, I am going to make a guild, but it's not going to be a real guild. It's just going to be a master group training guild for new idiots to play somewhere that's not ASAE.
I think I'd read.
So that way it can also do the news like more objectively, because like I'm in OPA and we're in the rank 1 guild. It feels like it's hard to be officially objective when I am in OPA. So.
Nah, you do a good job with just kind of running. You have a, I think you do a great job.
I'm just spilling all the secrets. Like Belwar tells me his launch, I immediately post it in our guild chat every time.
Well, I try to, I try to.
That's not true, by the way. I'm sure they're tilted that I talked about Belwar telling me everything and I don't tell them everything. Oh no, because what am I going to do if I leave OPA? Then I'm just going to get farmed by like Detroit's guild. So not going to happen. I like the comfort I have in OPA. It's very relaxing. I don't have to do anything aside for occasionally launch.
Well, I think if SF was in a position like Shrek's, I think we would have been high elo. We would have been, they basically rode shotgun on the Magic School Bus, right? So I can ride shotgun. I can, they had multiple op leaders running the Super Ninja. I know it wasn't just Chansey. It's like
it was mostly Pulsar on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I do plenty of things for the different guilds that I'm on different servers, and if other people, anyone can lead ops. Anyone can lead ops, and I'm gonna make sure they don't get the guild killed. But it's just more people can do what Belwar does and Alicus does.
Yeah.
So I talked for a long time, and
we went for we just talked for like 45 minutes. This is I think our actual longest interview.
It was more like a real kind, because I didn't really have a lot of I kind of had a few points I referenced, and I don't know, we covered a lot.
We even got to talk about Mira. God, Mira was the server I might have tried the hardest, and then it ended the worst.
Full circle, right? Like when you and me first met, and it dovetails with fake cloak and real cloak. And,
yeah.
I think it's a lot of context and backstory for a lot of.
Yeah, it is. Because
one
you
more
were there.
thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my dream has always been to start on the same side as Celeste and FK. So Antares is basically the closest thing that I'll ever have to actually being in the same guild as a speed server, or not being forced to derb them in the Kepler 5 crash or things like that. So. I think that Antares is as good as it gets, and I'm gonna stay. I always stay on the servers that I'm with, and I've got a pretty good trio right now. So, Utopia is gonna be the end of the road for me for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And I mean, what did I say? I said Utopia, but I meant Antares. Yeah,
because doing guild stuff, it's time and effort. It is.
Well, it might be fun to actually play the game and just kind of we have a guy who's got 6K econ. It's that I've made, how many times have I made these accounts? How many times have you replayed the same 1,000 hours? It's just kind of boring after a while. So but they know they know that I'm like them, and I'm just kind of taking it easy.
Yeah. Well, my goodness, we're past 1:30. This is one of our longest shows yet. Yeah. So Baylor, I'm sure we could keep talking about random old servers, but I have to officially give you the boot. We've talked for too long.
Good. Yeah, no, you would have given it to me earlier if it was bad. So I guess must have done something.
Yeah, I guess you were okay. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on, Baylor. We'll get you on again sometime again, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Okay.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, guys. I just talked with Baylor about everything for a long, long time. And other than that, guys, that's going to be the end of the news. Is Alicus still secretly here? I figured if Alicus was here, he'd be posting in chat. If he was, I could quickly look to see if we can't find some more Scott's hate speech. But since Alicus is gone, he's ruined it for everyone else. Going to be no more terrible Scott audio. But well, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in once again to the Astro News Network. I had a great time. I didn't think I'd be talking with Baylor for so long, but we did. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for following, subscribing, all that fun stuff. If you have anything Astro Empires that you want to come on and talk about, go ahead. Reach out to me. You don't have to be some multiple-time guild leader like Baylor, some Astro-famous person. The ANN doesn't discriminate based on rank. We had Dead Calicorn guy on, and he was the weirdest guy. I want to also put out that for a friendly reminder that I'm looking for weird account firsts on servers. Some guy told me he occupied the first capital. A cool thing. So please send me any weird things you might have. Do you have the first base first team? That was a mash of words. The first base 15? Let me know. That's right, Super Mallard. Astro famous. It's a real thing. And while everyone does know I'm in OPA, I can be very discreet about your op. Just let me know. Belwar tells me what he's doing every week, and he's always trying something, and nobody knows about it from me. And if you want to have a couple of dudes on from your guild to talk together, sure, fuck it, why not? Not a problem. You can always send me a message in-game, Discord, Twitch, wherever you can find me if you're interested. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. I told you a lot, Celeste. That's a lie. Goodbye forever, Celeste.